The story of Yoriichi, man who defeated Muzan. In a world overrun by demons, Yoriichi was born with a rare gift, the sun-breathing technique. But his ability frightened the people around him, and he was forced to live in isolation as a child. Yoriichi's older brother, Michikatsu, took it upon himself to train and protect him, teaching him how to control his powers and wield a sword. Despite being given meager food and education, and confined to a small room away from the rest of the house, Yoriichi persevered. He never spoke, and many thought he was deaf. Michikatsu, however, often sneaked behind their father's back to visit him, and gave him a handmade flute to comfort him. When Yoriichi was 7, he surprised Michikatsu by smiling and speaking for the first time, declaring his desire to become a samurai like his brother after watching him practice sword swings. But Michikatsu dismissed his brother's aspirations, knowing that Yoriichi would be sent to a temple when he turned 10. Despite the odds stacked against him, Yoriichi remained determined to hone his skills, and one day use them to defeat the demons plaguing their world. Yoriichi's journey to the Demon Slayer Corps. After their mother's passing, Yoriichi went to his brother Michikatsu's room to bid farewell and inform him of his departure for the temple that very night. Expressing gratitude towards his older sibling, Yoriichi promised to always remember him and carefully stored away the flute Michikatsu had crafted for him. At 16 years old, Yoriichi decided to leave his secluded life and join the Demon Slayer Corps, eventually being assigned to his brother's team. Together, they battled demons, refining their skills and techniques. Yoriichi's exceptional talent for swordsmanship and his Demon Slayer mark made him a formidable warrior. When he stumbled upon his brother as the only survivor of a demon attack that decimated his samurai encampment, Yoriichi effortlessly slayed the beast and apologized for his brother's comrades' deaths. With the goal of helping others, Yoriichi sought to teach his sun-breathing technique to his fellow demon slayers. Fighting Muzan, Yoriichi's team received a daunting assignment: capture the leader of all demons, Muzan Kibutsuji. Muzan's strength and ability to transform others into demons made him a fearsome adversary. Upon encountering him, Yoriichi sensed his overwhelming malice, likening it to boiling magma, poised to devour everything in its path. Yoriichi realized he was born with the abilities and talent to defeat Muzan once and for all. Though the mission was arduous, resulting in the loss of many of Yoriichi's team members, he, with his immense power and swordsmanship, managed to strike a blow that weakened Muzan significantly. But before delving into the battle's details, let's first explore Yoriichi's unique technique. Breath of the Sun. Yoriichi's Breath of the Sun is a unique and incredibly potent swordsmanship technique employed by Yoriichi in his battles against demons. It is a variant of the breathing techniques, which are combat styles that utilize a person's breath to enhance their physical abilities and concentrate their mind during combat. The Breath of the Sun technique draws its power straight from the sun, enabling the user to generate intense heat and light energy that can effortlessly annihilate demons. Yoriichi was the only individual known to have mastered this technique, which necessitated extensive physical and mental training. Overall, Yoriichi's Breath of the Sun technique is truly awe-inspiring and daunting, and has become a legend among demon slayers. Although it necessitates a great deal of training and skill to master, those who have accomplished it have become some of the most exceptional demon slayers of all time. Final battle with Muzan. After a long absence, Muzan reappeared, and Yoriichi knew this was his opportunity to finally defeat him. In an intense battle, Yoriichi used all of his skills and techniques to try to overcome the demon. But Muzan was an extremely tough opponent, dodging Yoriichi's attacks and counterattacking with deadly moves. Muzan expressed his disinterest in swordsmen who used breathing techniques and demonstrated his power with sweeping arm movements that could easily kill Yoriichi. Yoriichi dodged them, but he realized any one of those attacks could be fatal and felt fear for the first time. He then used his ability to see into the transparent world, to identify Muzan's 7 hearts and 5 brains that constantly changed position within his body. Seizing his chance, Yoriichi combined all of his forms into a single attack, overpowering and cutting through all of Muzan's hearts and brains. In a final desperate act, Yoriichi unleashed all of his power, striking Muzan with his ultimate technique, the transparent world. The attack was so powerful that it not only killed Muzan, but it also destroyed Yoriichi's body in the process. Aftermath of the battle on Yoriichi. After defeating Muzan, Yoriichi felt a heavy weight on his mind and yearned for someone to talk to. He thought of his companions, Sumiyoshi and Suyako, and decided to pay them a visit. Upon meeting Sumiyoshi, Yoriichi poured out his heart, recounting his journey from the beginning to his expulsion from the demon slayers. As he spoke of his regrets about letting Muzan live, and the many deaths that would follow, Yoriichi grew increasingly despondent. Just then, Sumire arrived and asked for a hug. At Sumiyoshi's request, Yoriichi lifted her up, eliciting laughter and joy from the little girl. Overcome with emotion, Yoriichi broke down in tears and embraced her tightly. Suyako soon arrived to comfort him, treating Yoriichi to a feast and cheering him up. During his stay with the Kamados, Yoriichi was asked by Suyako to demonstrate the forms of the sun-breathing technique. He gracefully performed each move, with such elegance that he seemed more like a spirit than a human. Sumiyoshi watched in awe and kept the memories of these performances in his heart. On his last visit, Yoriichi, despite being told he was welcome anytime, gifted Sumiyoshi his Hanafuda hoops as a token of his gratitude. Reflections on a life lived. Yoriichi's final moments, despite the demon slayer mark's limited life expectancy of 25 years, Yoriichi managed to live well into his 80s, albeit losing his sight. On the final day of his life, he confronted his brother Michikatsu, also known as Kokushibo, who was now Muzan's strongest lieutenant as Upper Position 1. Yoriichi was heartbroken at what his brother had become and wept, but he knew that he had to put an end to him and prepared to strike. Kokushibo was initially disgusted at the sight of his older brother being alive and well despite bearing the mark. But his disgust turned to fear when he realized that Yoriichi was still as skilled and powerful as ever. He told his brother when he was going to strike, but Yoriichi was too quick and beheaded him before Kokushibo could even draw his sword. Furious at being outmatched once again, Kokushibo waited for Yoriichi's next attack, but it never came. Yoriichi died peacefully at old age, undefeated. Enraged that he missed his chance at a fair fight and that the man who nearly killed Muzan and himself was now dead and undefeated forever, Kokushibo struck at Yoriichi's lifeless body in hatred. However, he noticed that Yoriichi still carried the flute that he had given him when they were children.